Here are 5 notes of interest. Part 2, Lee versus Weisman. According to Cornell Law of Schools Legal Information Institute, as of today, the court has decided on 50 Establishment Clause cases. The first time the Establishment Clause applies to the state is in 1947 in Everson versus Board of Education, where in a 5-4 vote, the Supreme Court decided that New Jersey law reimbursing parents for transportation costs to parochial schools did not violate the Establishment Clause. In determining the decision for Lee versus Weisman, the Supreme Court heavily considered Engel versus Vitale, which in 1962 a vote 6-1 determined schools cannot begin their day in prayer. From this, the Supreme Court determined that the state cannot hold prayers in public school, even if participation is not required and prayer is not tied to a particular religion. Another case considered during Lee versus Weisman was that of School District of Abington versus Schempp, where in an 8-1 decision, the Supreme Court determined that public schools cannot sponsor Bible readings and recitations of the Lord's Prayer. The latest case in which the Establishment Clause was considered was in 2014 and happened right in our own backyard. In Town of Greece versus Galloway, the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 in favor of the town, who was under scrutiny for beginning all town meetings and prayer delivered by local clergy, most of which were Christian. The court held that jurisprudence surrounding the Establishment Clause was never meant to prohibit legislative prayer. For the courts to make such a decision to arbitrate religious speech would be their own violation of the Establishment Clause. The difference here is that such prayer doesn't have the same effect of coercion on adults as it does children. This concludes the 2-part animation on Lee versus Weisman. I hope you enjoyed.